Thanks for getting up with us, you early risers. We know a lot of you are out there and you're holding on to that ballot because you just want to get all the information. We appreciate you holding off.
We know people that said, hey, David Lance said, hold on, we're going to have all the candidates on, and so we're going to wait till the election conversations are through, and then we cast our ballots. That means that folks are waiting to hear from our next guest, right?
That's right, and our next guest is Yakima County Commission candidate Jose Trevino. He is the current mayor of Grandview, and when he's not busy, Granger. I have that written down here. Current mayor of Granger, past Granger city councilman, and when he's not busy at City Hall, he's a fraud investigator for the State Department of Labor and Industries.
You know, fraud, like when people say to try to put you in the wrong city, that kind of fraud.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Jose. I'm so sorry. Anyway, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
You got a lot of your voters listening right now. So tell us all, who is Jose Trevino?
Yes, thank you. Well, my name's Jose Trevino. I'm a candidate for county commissioner. I was born in the state of Texas, and my family and I came up here in the mid-'70s as migrant workers. And in the late 70s, we decided to stay here. So I've been in the Yakima Valley ever since. I attended school in Sunnyside, graduated from Sunnyside High School. I have 28 years of public service experience, which includes law enforcement, currently LNI fraud investigator, city council member, and then the current mayor of the city of Granger. So that's kind of my background. Now, why am I running for county commissioner?
Yeah.
Well, I looked at what are the duties and responsibilities of the county commissioner, and I think that's important to know. And there's three major job duties and responsibilities: that of the legislative branch, dealing with policies, which I got that experience as a council member. The executive branch, which I'm currently involved in that. I'm doing those duties as the strong mayor of Granger. So I deal with personnel issues. I deal with negotiating with unions. I deal with day-to-day operations. So I am doing those duties now. And third is, and I think most important, is the budget. And so there's two levels, I guess, if you want to call it, in a strong mayor form of government. There's the strong mayor form of government where you have a city administrator who handles the day-to-day operations, handles your budget, and handles personnel issues, and then you sign off at the end of the day. I don't have a city administrator, so I actually roll up my sleeves and I'm involved. Yes, I'm involved in all that. So I deal with that. And so when I looked at all that, I said, you know, I have the qualifications, and it's a pretty important job, and somebody needs to come in and be able to just, there's going to be some learning curve, but it won't be as much because I'm doing those duties now. And so I also looked at the successes that I've had in the city so far. You know, I inherited an $84,000 budget deficit, turned it into a $100,000 surplus in 2 months. I also send out a couple of years ago a survey to the community to find out, okay, what are your needs and wants, and let's prioritize those. And over we kept getting more commercial growth, and we want some quality of life issues addressed, especially with our youth. So this year, we opened up a splash park downtown Granger, so come visit our dinosaurs and get wet. Bring your children and grandchildren. And then we also, this year, started a Parks and Rec department with organized youth activities.
All right.
So we're doing that. And we got a 6-year plan to upgrade and replace our infrastructure so we can deal with the commercial growth. We got to have that in order to sustain the growth. So last year we've invested over $300,000. This year we're going to invest right around the same thing. That's dealing with some street stuff and our water lines, main water lines, so we can be able to have the foundation to support business growth. And so we're doing all that, and we've done all that without raising taxes or without raising rates. We're looking at, my position on this is, you know, the increases should be the last resort, but we should be looking at other cutting costs in other areas in order to offset any increases. But so we've been going out and applying for grants and getting awarded lots of grants, and then we're reinvesting some of our reserve monies into the infrastructure and just going phases, little by little, and we're able to do that without raising taxes. And so I want to bring all that to the county level, that way of thinking.
I'm thinking the good folks that you could count on for a vote aren't going to vote because they don't want to let you go. That sounds like a great plan and great progress being made in Granger.
If you win, how does your where are you in your mayor term here? I mean, will they have to appoint someone, or how will that work?
Yes, I'm. So my term goes until 2019. So they would have to appoint someone for the 1 year. Okay. Yes.
Well,
and you're right. People are telling me they don't want me to leave.
I would think
they're like, we don't know if we want to vote for you because we don't want you to go.
It's very much like on the national scene when we hear a lot of the times that governors make for a better presidential candidate, and presidents oftentimes, because they've had that administrative experience, they've dealt with budgets, they've dealt with dealing with the federal people already and things like that. So anybody that has some administrative stuff in their background does shorten the learning curve. I can't think that it doesn't. So you're right. That's a big plus for you. As you look at the county is, I guess I would say, is a longtime county observer, probably in a better situation than they've been in a while. What do you like about what you see having taken place, and where do you think you could step in and offer some new input, head in a new direction?
Well, I think for the most part, the county commissioners are doing an excellent job. My favorite part, I'm really big into budget. That's my thing, the budget. And so their priorities of government, the way they're dealing with the budget, to be able to identify, okay, where's our cost increases, where are we looking at, where's our revenues coming from, how do we allocate those revenue sources to the different departments. I think that's excellent. And that's kind of what I'm doing now in Granger with my department heads, is we all sit down and we look at that in order to be able to allocate the funding fairly. Because if you've never been in government, you don't understand that there's, and I learned that everything is important. Public works is important. Police is important. Your city hall staff, everybody is important. And so you got to try to allocate the funding fairly so you get the most out of it. So I like that part that the county's doing. I think what I hear the most from people that I've been talking to is the underground water contamination. That's a big concern. But I think the way the county's handling that, where they have the committee in place, now it's in the SEPA process, and then it'll be turned over to Department of Ecology to review and approve the plan. And then the county's looking at hiring somebody to implement that plan and get some solutions to that. I think that's perfect. I think for me, I don't really see a whole lot that needs to be changed. If there's anything, I guess I'll find out once I'm elected what that changes. But I don't see a whole lot of change. I think there's just so many issues. You got homeless issues, you got the mental health issues, you got water issues, land issues. There's so many of them that you just can't point at one and say, okay, that's the one. There's the metering program too that I hear about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one thing that's made a lot of news, and that's the marijuana thing, and we have asked other candidates about that, so it's I think right to ask you too. Your take on the decision to hold off, do another vote, and then now start to act against those folks that put those in and said, hey, land use, people have spoken, here's what we're doing. How do you feel about all of that?
Well, I agree with the voters. I think every time it comes up in the ballots, the voters have voted it down. And this last time on the advisory vote, about 60% of them said they want to keep the ban. And I agree with them. I agree with the ban. As far as the process and how the county's dealing with it, I think, first of all, it's a land use issue, and the court has already said the counties have the right to make that decision. And so the way they're trying to address that and get it taken care of, I believe, is with the least amount of impact to the taxpayers. And so I think it's the right approach.
The idea of the average citizen saying, "Wait a second, the state approved marijuana, and now you're telling me I can't." People don't really understand the nuance of land use and local jurisdiction and some of those kinds of things. And you probably have found that too in your time as a mayor, a council person, that it's really, on the one hand, you don't want to insult your constituents and the citizens that they don't have enough knowledge. I mean, I'm accused now of saying people are stupid because they don't understand the plaza. But the point is, a lot of that stuff is complicated and detailed, and you spend all the time and hours on it, and the citizen doesn't, and they just say, "Look, we passed it. Why can't we?" That's, for me, it was one of the more frustrating things, that you want people to know and you want to make it clear, and you could spend your entire mayoral or commissioner career trying to explain to people. That's one of I'm sure it's going to be one of the frustrations in terms of dealing with complicated issues like water metering and some of those other things.
Sure, and I think that's why, I made the comment earlier that unless you've actually been doing the job, you don't understand. So that's why you have a lot of candidates that might say, "I will do this. When I get elected, I'm going to change this, and and then you get in there and you find out, wait a minute, I can't do all these things. There's so many things that come into play. That's why my approach isn't, I'm going to change this, I'm going to do that. No, my approach is, I've been doing it. I've been doing the work, and I understand there's 3 commissioners, not just one, and I have to work with we all have to work together. And at the end of the day, not everybody's going to agree with the decisions made, just like not everybody agrees with the decisions I make in Granger. But at the end of the day, if I make the decision that's in the best interest of everybody, then I feel good about that decision.
KIT News Time 7:27. We are talking to Yakima County Commission candidate Jose Trevino, the current mayor of Granger. How do you believe your current work as an investigator for the LNI will impact your job as county commissioner? Will you keep the job if?
Oh no.
Okay, good.
No, yeah. If I'm elected, I would retire from LNI or resign, and then also the same thing as mayor. I would resign as mayor as well.
Could you take some of those investigative skills though to the county commissioner's office?
I think you can always use investigative skills on anything, but I think the biggest part of that is my knowledge of the workings of LNI, dealing with certain with personnel issues, employment law, because LNI has so many branches. We got DOSH, we got employment standards, we got fraud, we got audit. So there's so many different divisions, and I understand. I'm not an expert, but I understand the basics of each different division. So I think that knowledge, bringing it to the county, is a plus.
I agree 100%, right, Jose. All right, we're running out of time. We've got about 2 minutes. So what we'd like you to do is give the pitch. Why should the people of the County Commission District 3 and then ultimately all of Yakima County vote for you for their county commissioner?
Well, I think, again, it's important to know what the job duties and responsibilities of the county commissioner position are. It's an important position. And so if you look at those, again, the legislative branch, the executive branch, the budgeting, and then you look at the experience of the candidates, you'll see that I'm the candidate that has that experience. I'm doing the job now. At a smaller scale, but I'm doing the job now. The other thing too is look at the successes that I've had in Granger, and all without raising taxes, always looking for other ways to pay for things and to cut costs and offset any increases that are required. I oppose the $20 tab fee, so I think taking all that and just looking at what I've done in the city, you can see that I am a proven conservative leader with my track record. I'm not just saying I'm fiscally conservative. You can look at the budget and see that I am fiscally conservative. So I think all that makes me the top candidate.
Tell you, it's most folks, you're absolutely right. Have aspirations, and you have proof in the pudding. So We get through this process. We'd love to have you back, chat some more about specifics on some of these issues. But for now, we say thank you for your service to the folks in the Lower Valley. We appreciate that. Looking out for all of us through LNI, and best of good luck, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you to all the listeners for spending some time this morning listening. Thank you.
Jose Trevino of Granger. We'll be right back. Fox News is next.